Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn a very important topic, that is networks security, that is internet security. Now, what do we understand by internet security? Students, we all have used internet for one or the other purpose. You might have played online games, and your parents might have done online banking through internet. We also send emails through internet. We see movies and even video conferencing as we are doing today. They all are done using internet. Now students, as we know, internet is a much needed thing in our daily life nowadays. So, we need to use internet, but as we use internet, with internet, a lot of vulnerabilities also creep in. That is, you can fall prey of cyber crimes. Say your security can be breached. That is, the data which you have, maybe online banking password, say your bank account details, they all can be tracked by hackers and can be used by them for malignant intentions. Suppose you give your data in social networking sites. You reveal your address, name, age, gender. They may be used for, say, wrong given situations. So these things have to be kept in mind when we actually surf internet. We need to know the best practices that we should follow when we are availing the internet facility. Therefore, CBSE has introduced this chapter, Internet Security, for you all. Now, we will open the presentation for internet security and we will see how we can be secure over internet using some best practices. So let us start and let us first understand what internet security is. So students, what we will do is we will start and understand what internet security means. So I start the presentation. What is internet security? See students, it is a branch of computer security that deals with security of everything on the internet, that is the browser, the network devices, as well as the data which we share over internet. So this branch of computer security actually focuses on securing the browser, the network, as well as the data being shared. So, what is the objective of internet security? What we want to do through internet security? Obviously, we want to secure our data. So let us see. We want to establish rules and measures that can be used for protection against the attacks which are done through internet. So internet security actually deals with the rules and measures that can be used for protecting us against the attacks that we may face through internet. And we all know that internet is an insecure channel for exchanging information. Students, please see into it. What is meant here is that internet is not at all a very secure channel. Internet is an insecure channel for exchanging the information, and therefore we are at a very high risk of intrusion or fraud. So what are the different threats that we can face through internet? See, our username. When do we give our username? We give our username when we try to install different apps. We give a username, we give a password. So our username, our password, when we go for online banking, we give our credit card number, our debit card number. Okay, so then net banking number. So for online shopping, credit card number, debit card number. For net banking, we give our banking credentials. They all are prone to be tracked, and they can be used by unauthorized users. They can debit money unknowingly from our bank account. They can shop using our credit card number or debit card number. They can enter into our social networking sites using our username and passwords and give some information there which can be questionable. So there are a lot of threats. So this is one of them. Let us see a few more threats. Some websites can also install malware. Now what is a malware? See, there are programs, malwares are programs which have malified intention. Many types of malwares are there. You have Trojan horses, you have viruses, you have worms, you have spywares, you have adwares. So different types of programs are there, and they are meant to harm the user. So these given malwares can damage your computer or insecure your data without even your knowing, that is without your consent. And we need to be safe from them also. And what are the other threats that we can face? See, other types of threat that we can face are phishing, email spoofing, chat spoofing. So, what is phishing? Let us understand first. Suppose there is a bank where I have an account. Now that bank has given me the permission to do online banking, and today suppose I want to debit some money, that is take out some money from that account and transfer it into account of my friend. Now what happens is, when I try to open the web page of that bank for online banking, instead of the page of that given bank, a similar looking page may be placed before me by a hacker. I may not be recognizing this given change, and I may give all the informations to the hacker's page. So the hacker actually tries to prove before me that the page that it has given is the page of the bank, and I also by mistake understand the same. So what he is doing? He is trying to represent his page as the page of the online bank, and this is known as phishing. I fall into his trap and I enter the details there, and he takes my details and he transacts with my details from my account. So this is known as phishing. They happen, students, and we should be safe from them. Similarly, there is something called email spoofing. You may receive an email which may be from address which would look exactly similar to the address of your friend, and you may think that your friend has given that email, but instead that email would not have been given by your friend. There would be a very minor difference between both the email IDs, and you actually think that your friend has sent that email, but in reality that might have been sent by a person who wanted to give you the mail and wanted you to understand that it was not given by him and it was given by your friend. This is known as email spoofing. Same is chat spoofing. In chat spoofing, you may think you are chatting with your friend, but in reality, another person who tries to impersonify himself as your friend would be actually chatting with you. So this is known as chat spoofing. So they all happen on internet, students, and we need to be very careful while we are using internet. So students, did you see that there are a lot of threats and we need to overcome these threats on internet? So what are the best practices to be safe on internet? See, the first important thing that we should always understand is that we should use strong passwords. If we use strong passwords, we can lower the risk of security breach, because each and every site when you log in would require a password. So if somebody tries to log in into your site and tries to act as if he is you, that is he is on your shoes, so you will have to give a strong password such that he cannot guess that password to enter into your account and pretend that that account is not his, it is yours, and he can use that account on your behalf. So you should give strong passwords. Now, what actually is a strong password? A strong password contains combination of alphabets, numbers and special characters. And one more thing, student, we should not keep passwords which can be easily guessed. For example, our favorite color, our friends and relatives' name, our bike number, mobile number. They should not be kept either singly or even in combined way. We should avoid them. Passwords should be such that they cannot be easily guessed. And one more thing, once you have given your password, do remember to change the password frequently. That is, within 2 or 3 weeks, you should regularly change your password. Don't keep the same password for years. You should change the password within 2 or 3 weeks or even before to be safe on internet. So these are the best practices. Let us see few more best practices on internet to be safe. See, most websites, when you go and try to install an app, or say you want to create a Gmail ID, these websites check that the password which you are giving while creating that email ID for yourself is weak or strong. They will notify you that the password which you are giving, whether it is weak or strong. So whenever you try to sign up in Gmail, that is create an account, that is create an Gmail account, then Gmail actually suggests you that the password which you are keeping for opening that Gmail account, whether it is weak or strong. If it is weak, you need to make it strong. So this is also a best practice that internet helps us to have, so that we would be sure that our password is strong enough so that it cannot be guessed by a miscreant. See here, student, it is from Gmail. When you choose a password, it helps you to understand that the password is whether it is weak, fair or strong. So you can take the help of these given notifications by the Gmail site and you can make your password strong. Now let us see some general guidelines for managing strong passwords. How to manage strong passwords? See, the password that we keep should at least be 12 to 14 characters long. And again, we should understand that we should not keep passwords which are repetitive. Suppose I keep a password of 12 characters, but I keep A, say 12 A's. Or suppose we keep a dictionary word. So this should not be kept. The word should not be a dictionary word even. Okay. It should be something which cannot be guessed. You cannot put your username as your password. The same username as your password also. You cannot put that. You should not put that. You cannot put your, as I said, relative's name or your pet's name. Okay. So this should be avoided. Now, students, we should try to include in our passwords numbers as well as special symbols. They should be included. That is, say special symbol means @ sign, hash symbol, exclamatory sign. This sort of things should be used so that it cannot be easily guessed. And one more thing, you should amalgamate, that is mix capital letters as well as small letters in the password and make it as strong as possible. So these are the general guidelines for making and managing strong passwords. Now some more given guidelines here. We should avoid using the same password for multiple sites. Suppose you have used the same password for even online banking, say for opening an account in Flipkart, say the Gmail password is also same, say the IRCT password is also same. So if one is given guessed, the hacker will try it with all other sites that you own, that has your credentials, and try to use that situation. So he will try a given password. If it is known by him, by the hacker, he will try to use it in all the sites, say Flipkart. If it is same, he will then try to bank from or shop from Flipkart. So we should avoid this. We should not have the same password for multiple sites. We should give different passwords for different sites. We should also avoid using things which our public or workmates can easily guess about us. That is our strong like or dislike while we are making our passwords. So if I dislike the color black and my friend knows it, then he will try whether I have written not black as the password. So we should avoid these things also. Our strong likes and dislikes should not relate with our password. And students, there are certain sites which help us to generate passwords. They generate passwords randomly. We can take use of these sites. In the next page I will show you a site which helps us to generate strong passwords randomly. One of the examples of strong password is here, students. See, it has everything. It has capital letters, small letters, digits, special symbols, and see, students, the password is really very strong. Do you think a hacker can guess this password? We think no, hackers cannot guess this password. Now, as I said, there is a password creating website which creates strong password. Let us see. See, www.strongpasswordgenerator.com is a website which helps us to create strong passwords randomly. Now, how to generate that strong password? We will open this given site, strongpasswordgenerator.com, and then we'll click the option Generate Strong Password. We shall notice that a password has been randomly generated. We can use that password wherever required. So students, you saw how you can create strong passwords using that given website. Let us see some other given good practices that should be applied or implemented when we are on internet. See, we should always keep a backup of data. If I have a thing, I have kept it in say Gmail. I am doing say PhD. Say if I am doing PhD or you are doing PhD. So you have a thesis. You think it would be safer to keep it on Gmail Drive, Google Drive. But what if your Google password is compromised? The man can delete all those theses. So you should keep a backup of your data. So it is always required or suggested that you should keep copies of the data personally in say the compact disk or pen drives or external hard disk drives, wherever you can keep. Please keep them with you so that if the online record has been deleted or damaged, you can use your backup. It is a great help in situation where there is a loss of data. One more thing, we should try to use encryption software. Now what is encryption software? For example, you are keeping something on internet. You should not keep them plain. You should use some encoding software which encodes your data, so that even if it is being intercepted by someone, that person cannot understand what actually that data contains. He cannot read that data then. So you should use encryption software to encode your data, and then if that data has been even stolen by some miscreant, say cyber miscreant, then also that man would be unable to understand it and think that data is of no use to him. So students, we should go for encryption softwares. If we don't have encryption software with our operating systems, then we can use a third-party software, but operating system always give us some encryption softwares. We can use them first, encrypt our data, and then save it on internet or send it on internet. Now we should keep our username and password also private. That is, say I am going to the cyber cafe and before everybody I am opening my Gmail account and everybody can see my username and password. So then what use is of that password? That password is now public. So we should always be careful when we are using a computer at a shared environment, that is say an internet cafe or say some office. So if I am using there, we should be extra careful that no one can see our username and password. Actually the password part, because we need to keep our password private. It should not be made public. So browsers also save sometimes. Sometimes you are giving that password, none of the given public is seeing it. But where actually you are typing that password, there can be some keylogger softwares attached to that given cyber cafe computer. So whatever password you are typing, the keylogger software can well store that, keep track of that, and afterwards it can be used for wrong means. So understood students, you should be extra careful when you are using some public computer. Whatever you are typing, you first should check that is there any keylogger software. So they are required. So we should try to keep our passwords, usernames private. Now students, sometimes what we do, we try to download and install a given app. So while we download and install a given app, what happens is the app asks us whether we are allowing it the camera, whether we are allowing the storage, and we all say yes, yes, we say allowed. But it is wrong students. Those data which are on your mobile, the photographs, the important informations, those are now in the hands of that app. and the creator of the app can use it for any given purpose. So we should always read the privacy statement or policy whenever we are trying to register to a website or trying to install app on our mobile. So the statements should be read properly, the policy should be read properly, because it includes all the information about what that given website or the app creator is going to do with our personal data. So we should understand them first and then only go to install it or allow things to that given website or app creator. Again, students, we should understand, see, we can have situations where we need to fill an online form and we have to give our details there, say our school's name, our addresses, our mail ID, age, gender, name. So now if that form is being filled by us, before filling the details there, we should always check whether that web page where we are filling the form, that site which is asking for the form, is a trustable site or not, whether it is a legitimate site or not. Otherwise all the data would go into a hand of a miscreant, cyber criminal, cyber miscreant. So we should understand that and we should double check, that is about the authenticity of that web page or website where we are filling our form and giving our important details. Sometimes these given forms also ask for your email address. So we should understand first that whether these given informations of name, gender, age, etc. and email addresses are being provided to a authorized site. How do we check whether these sites are authorized or not? We can check it by seeing the comments over that site by other users, or we can see the given HTTPS, that is whether the site contains the protocol HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. If it is simple HTTP, don't use that site, but if it is HTTPS, you can go and use it. So these are things, because this given digital security certificate is given by the government, and when government gives that certificate, they use HTTPS because they follow the security rules. So I think students, you have understood that whenever we are going to fill an online form, we should be extra careful about the authenticity of the site, as well as when we provide our email address, we need to be extra careful, otherwise they can send fake or unwanted mails to our given mail addresses, and these mails are said to be spams. They can put some mail that you have earned a lot of money, whereas when you click that given link for downloading the details about that money, that link can give back, instead of money, a lot of malwares like viruses or other, say, adwares, etc. So we should be extra careful while sharing our mail address. Now for online shopping, that is online transaction, how to be safe while doing online transaction. See, whenever we go for online transaction, we all understand that we give our credit card number, debit card number, online banking details, and the website stores them, saves them, and if the website is not authorized, if it is an unauthorized website used by some hacker, say, created by some hacker, our information would be tracked by them and they can use that information for different given cyber crimes. So students, while going for online transaction or online shopping, we need to be extra careful. What should be done? See, we should first ensure that the website which we are using for online transaction, whether it is a legitimate one or not, whether it has all the given security practices being performed by the site, and as well as whether it is maintaining every data and details of each online transactions or not. So how can we check whether these things are being done? One I said already, it should be a HTTPS site. And second is, all those websites which are actually secured, on say their web address bar, there is a golden lock which is shown. It is a green lock which is shown, and it represents that the site has a digital certificate given by the government that the site is secure. So always check whether there is a green lock or not, and whether it is using the protocol HTTPS or not before going for online shopping on a given site. So these are very important, students. The websites which are secure, as I said, they indicate it by showing a golden lock, a green lock, and it is nothing but a digital certificate that it has earned from the government. So let us proceed further, students. There are some other best practices also. See, there are some programs, as I said, they are called to be malwares. They track our browsing behavior, they track our personal data on computer. So, as I said, there are programs such as keyloggers which actually keep track on whatever we type as a password on the computer. These programs track the passwords and transmit this password to unauthorized users because they see each and every keystrokes being pressed. So how to avoid these malwares? See, we should use antiviruses and anti-spywares. These programs should be always installed and regularly updated also. We should keep our antivirus and anti-spywares up to date, and this helps us to protect even from the recent threats. Now, as I said, through email also a lot of threats can come through or come towards us. So, what we should do? We should not immediately respond to a mail from an unknown source or unknown user. I don't know the user. A mail has come. We should not go and open it up. We should not hesitate to open it up. We should first wait and see whether this mail have been sent by a fake mail address. And what is the purpose of that mail address or creator of that mail? The mail creator may want to gather your personal information, that is your bank account details or home address, etc. So we should first see whether they are from a authorized given address or not. If it is not, we should not open it. Some mails also promise you jobs and announce lotteries. I said spams. They are said to be spams. But when you click those given links, they compromise your data or actually install some Trojan horses, or say they put some virus in your computer. So never go and open these given or touch the link given by these mail addresses which are unknown and unauthorized. As I said, in some cases virus or dangerous scripts can be attached with that mail. So what we understood is we should never open the attachment from an unknown source while it is received as an email. Now, safety from cookies. Now what are cookies? Students, you'll understand cookies. Suppose you go to Flipkart, you give your credentials there. They will ask whether you want your data to be saved through cookies or not. Suppose you said yes. So next time when you actually go to Flipkart and open it, you will see that your names and your other details are already shown by that Flipkart site. How do that Flipkart site know that it is you who has opened that given Flipkart site? They know it because they save it in the form of cookies. So cookies are some programs which are sent by the websites into your computer, and these programs, that is cookies, store your data, and whenever you open the same site, these cookies become active and help that given website to understand that it is you, and the website gives the details at your screen, and you think how miraculous it is. Your data is known by the website and website is greeting you. So these are cookies. But cookies can be vulnerable also. There are many threats from browser cookies. So as I said, cookies are programs that are created on your local computer when you visit some websites. Now, these cookies are meant for storing data, as I said, about you when you visited the site earlier, and whenever you again log on to that given site, it shows your details on the page, and you feel happy that the site already knows these details about me. But these informations which are there can be tracked by an unauthorized users, and they can possibly gain access to your personal informations. So we should avoid cookies. And how to avoid the threats from browser cookies? We should clear browser cookies frequently from our local computer. We will see how we actually clear or delete browser cookies from our local computer. So one more threat is threat from operating system. So students, we always use the operating system to do our work, and operating systems are actually very secure. So they are designed and tested, and then only they are distributed. But sometimes these operating systems can have some security holes, and which a hacker can take advantage of. So the operating system vendor, that is the person or the given company who has sold you the operating system, they may also come to know about the security hole afterwards, and when they come to know about it, they create some updates on that operating system or patches they give on that operating system. So you should regularly see for these patches and try to install it. I think you understand it, because in your mobile also regularly update comes, update software it comes. So that means why it is giving update software, because it understands that there is a security breach and tries to overcome it. So whenever we have time, we should try to search for the recent updates of the operating system, and we should install these updates, because hackers can use these security holes to track and gather information and can damage your computer through these informations. So how to avoid the threats from operating system? Most vendors, they notify that there is that is operating system sellers, they notify that there is a security hole, and they give an update. And you need to see these updates, try to search for these updates and install these updates on your particular computer, so that you are secure from the threats which come through an operating system. So we need to download and install the updates to keep our operating system and software applications up to date and free from security holes. Now we should use firewalls also, students. Now what are firewalls? Firewalls are operating systems or hardwares, firewalls are softwares or hardwares that can assist in keeping the computer and the network free from all threats. Now students, this word firewall has come from the ancient ways of fighting wars. Around the forts, ancient given kings, they used to dig a pit, and there they used to burn some wood and make a firewall. Similarly, in our computers also, the operating systems are loaded with firewalls. Whenever a virus or say malware tries to enter into your computer, this firewall software checks for that virus and stops it and says it not to come in. And that software, which is a virus, cannot enter into your computer. So therefore it is known as a firewall. So they could be hardwares, they could be software, but their work is to check the things which are intruding into our computer, and if they are not secure enough, they are not given entry into our given computer. So firewall analyze the network traffic and determine if the traffic should be allowed or not. Operating systems already have firewalls stored with it, loaded in it, but if you think that they are not enough, you can also try to configure your own firewall from internet for additional security. Now some more best practices. So we should not install software from unknown sources. All the softwares that we install should be from trustworthy sources. Okay. So we should always go for the softwares that are cataloged by reputed websites. We should not use unwanted websites. We should always verify the legitimacy of the source while we search internet. Okay. So when we search internet or when we actually are referring to some other, we should also try to understand the nature and purpose of the software that we are trying to download and install. Suppose we are installing a software and we don't know what actually is the use of that software. So then it would be a software which has a lot of viruses with it. So we should first understand why that software has been created and then we should install it. Now we should always remove unwanted and unknown software applications, because these software applications might get installed without our knowledge when we visit our websites. So sometimes what happens is we are visiting our website and we are trying to actually install a software, but with that software a lot more softwares creep in. So we should understand it, that whether with our needed software some other softwares are also coming in or not. If they are coming in, they should be avoided. So these are, students, few given steps that should be taken into care. As I said, unwanted software also creep in bundled with necessary software. You should avoid these softwares. We remove softwares. Recent examples, and 59 given apps, they were removed. You also know why they were removed. So they are all for network security, which we are doing. So these are all how you be safe on internet. Many more practices. As I said, you should always clear the data stored in the browser. How to clear the data that has been stored on the browser? So the data which are stored in the browser through cookies, they can be cleared by setting the tools option. We'll see how we do it. So browsers have built-in password management systems. They store password, as we know. Browser often prompt to save username and passwords when user attempt to log to that website. Say this, they write whether you want to save. If you say yes, they save it. This facility is actually offered so that whenever you go to that same site, you need not again retype the password and username. However, they are very risky. In public computer, if you do that, anybody else would go and enter into your given account. So it is not advisable to leave the web browser store this data, particularly on public or shared computer. You should not say that yes, save that given data. You should always say no while it asks for saving, because it can create a security breach. So there can be a security breach. Now, how to clear the data stored in your own Mozilla Firefox? We have taken an example as Mozilla Firefox. You can use that example for even becoming safe through other web browsers. We'll go to Tools menu, we'll click Options, everything is given here. We will go to the place where it is given Remember Password. We will say no, we don't want to remember the password. So Mozilla Firefox henceforth will not save the password which you typed. So these are required. The cyber cafe owners should do that in their computer. They should keep the password remembering option to not. That is, password should not be remembered. Otherwise it will create a lot of problem. We should also say that cookies should not be kept. It should be deleted as and when created. So to clear this, for cookies we go to General tab and then Options within Tools. See, this is the screen. See, here it is written cookies and site data. Delete cookies. We'll check that. And when it is written within logins and password, asked to save login password, we'll uncheck that. So passwords will not be saved and cookies will be deleted. So we would use that. Then remember history. We'll say no, we don't want to remember history. We'll go and click clear history so that all the histories should be cleared. So that if in a cyber cafe someone actually goes to a site, does some online banking, their history should be clear. So students, what we see is this is how we actually work to be safe on internet. By default, the Mozilla Firefox actually remembers the browsing history, remembers passwords and does not delete cookies. But we have to set it such that it should not remember the password, it should always delete the cookies, it should also delete the history, that is clear the history. So if you are in a public computer such as cyber cafe, we should select never remember history. We should also select clear all current history. We should also select never remember the password. Okay, so these should be done if there is a public computer which has been owned by a cyber cafe owner. He should go for these options, otherwise people will fall prey of security threat or cyber threat. Summary is, there are several online threats such as phishing, email spoofing, chat spoofing, malwares and whatnot. But we can reduce these risks of falling prey on internet by using antivirus software, anti-spywares, firewalls, strong passwords and whatnot. And in addition, we should also spare, or I should say spread the awareness of these best practices to our friends even. Thank you students and have a very nice day.